Hey, and good evening, Rob. Thank you for joining us here.
Good evening. Good to be here.
Excellent. Yeah, we're glad to have you here. Thank you so much for being able to join us. I think it was Jim AE0YR, maybe a common friend that introduced us. So it's yeah, glad to have you here.
Cool.
We were just getting things started. There's just a few of us joined here. I was just mentioning this is the Elmer Session, just a Q&A about ham radio, STEM topics. Plenty of stuff we can talk about. Um, we do stream over on youtube.com/Denver Radio Club if anybody ever is interested on watching this Elmer session or our meetings on there live or in the past archived. You can do that smartphone, smart TV. That's always something to check out. Um, I didn't bring too much here this evening. I have a few things. I know that there was a little mini meetup today. I don't know if anybody is on here that was went there, but there was a just a little Italian restaurant they went to. I think midday today. Few people from the Nets, so over by Belmar Park. So they may have done some parks on the air potentially. So maybe we'll get some updates on that. See, I'll try to bring all these things up a few more times throughout the net here. But if you're in the Littleton area here, or in the Littleton area over by the Dish facility, they are starting to build up a display for a SpaceX Falcon rocket exhibition. So it'll be pretty cool to see. Hopefully, they'll be done towards the end of the month here. But Littleton, along with Dish, teaming up to display a 146-foot SpaceX Falcon 9 first stage rocket booster. So it'll be a free attraction. It'll be pretty cool there. So it's on the Dish campus, I think, or near it, Little Creek Trail.
My wife and I are SpaceX nuts. We try to get out to Cocoa Beach once a year.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah,
We've
yeah.
seen night launches and day launches, and we're hoping to see a Falcon Heavy launch sometime,
That would be
maybe next
awesome.
year. Yeah.
Yeah, we were mentioning we have a lot of aeronautical and space engineering here in the state, but we don't really get to see the kind of the launches or anything like that. So, yeah.
Did you follow the Psyche launch that they did
I
this
didn't
week?
know. No. Let's see.
So it was Falcon Heavy boosting a probe that will travel. It'll do a Mars slingshot and it'll travel something like 2.2 billion miles and hopefully intercept the asteroid Psyche sometime in 2029. It's like this huge, predominantly metallic asteroid that they hope to encounter and sample. Just
Okay.
blows my mind that you can plan something that far out.
Yeah.
It's trying to calculate the time it would take a signal to travel from here to the probe in 2029. It's going to be quite a time difference.
Yeah. That'll be pretty interesting. Yeah. I'm sure they have. Uh, when they input their commands, there's probably a delay or something like that. So it's a lot of, yeah, a lot of important stuff there. Mm.
A lot of heartburn and pucker till that reply comes back.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. What was there was something else that recently happened.
Voyager 2, they had an issue
They sent
with a
out a bad
command.
That's right.
Right,
Yep.
right.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Or V'ger if you're a Star Trek nut.
Okay. That's right. Cool. Let's see. We have
So
some of us
John
from.
John Murphy joined us. He had
Yeah.
sent a message out through the Facebook page earlier today, and
Oh.
he's looking for some guidance on predominantly VHF stuff. So I thought invited him to join us. I'm glad he's here with us, and hopefully we'll get some counsel for him on his VHF issues.
Sounds good. Yeah, John. If you have anything, if you're trying to buy equipment or if you have a specific issue or something, if you want to bring it up, let us know. We'll try to
Well,
brainstorm
what
some
I'm
things.
looking for is I was on one of the Facebook groups today and saw something about regular packet radio, not WinLink, but packet radio. And somebody posted a link to your W0TX VHF page that has something on that. And I started delving into that. And I have a Kenwood TS2000, and it's got the built-in TSC into the tub sub radio. And I'm just kind of wondering and maybe wanting, I do WinLink with that right now. And I do connect to some VHF repeater or digipeaters, I guess they're called, up here in northern Colorado. I'm in Firestone, by the way.
Okay.
And so I thought, well, I posted the message. I think, I don't know who it was that gave me this link to get in here. They said, join us tonight and, ask your questions. So here I am.
So, John, that was me. This is Jeff Irvin, KB0CHT. And, I don't know if he'll be with us tonight, but our resident packet guru is Bill Rinker, W60AV. And there's several videos, I believe, on our YouTube site by Bill. He used to teach packet classes all the time back in the day. And so there's several of those that you might want to take a look at and get familiar with. And the club does have I guess we call it a node or a repeater and a link into HF. I haven't done TNC or packet in years. I did it back in the day quite a bit, but that would be one suggestion I would have. Anybody else want to weigh in out there? It's somewhat ancient technology in this day and age of FT8 and all the stuff we have going these days. But
I found an article. It was from like 2008 or somewhere around in there, explaining how to do it and what software you needed to download, and it looked relatively easy on paper. And I love don't get me wrong, I love WinLink. I love connecting to WinLink and using it and things like that. But I'm just thinking there's got to be something else out there that this can do, that I can use the internal TNC. I mean, I run Signal Links, and I'm also in Air Force Mars, and we have our own HF radio set up to send messages back and forth and things like that on Mars frequencies. And so I'm familiar enough that I think, given the right knowledge and knowledge of, okay, download this software, do this, and it'll connect. I think that's all I need to do, but I'm not sure.
so I'm trying to remember, what was the name of the organization that they actually made equipment at one time. I don't know if they still do or not. I'm trying to rack my brain here and looking on Google here to remember. It started with a T and I can't remember what it was called. Anybody else weigh in out there? When it comes to gold standard as far as software, this Direwolf, I just posted a link there for you, is really kind of the gold standard, I think, out there for open source stuff.
Well, doesn't Direwolf also have a software TNC built
Yes,
into it?
that's correct. Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Now my Kenwood has a built-in TNC.
Yeah.
It's not fancy. You can't adjust too many settings or anything like that. And you can't send it command like you could some of the old external TNCs that we knew back in the day. I've been licensed since 73 or 72. My call sign is Whiskey November 6, Oscar Tango Lima. And I got out of ham radio due to life getting in the way, military and everything. And I got back into it in 2000. And a lot has changed.
Sure.
And, so I am sort of familiar with the old TNCs that you had sitting on top of the radio. And, you plugged in different cables and you could send commands to the
Right.
TNCs and stuff like that. So I'm not dumb enough not be familiar with it, but it's just, can I do it with what I've got?
Yeah. And I'm
Yeah, I
trying
was
to
trying to look up my. Yeah, I use software TNC, so I use a combination of this easy term and sound modem combination. But the easy term really is what I use to dial into the basically our packet network repeater. You put your radio onto 145050, and then it's been a while since I've done packet, but there's some commands I believe just to get into the repeater and into the BBS and chat systems. Yeah. On this one, it's just a connect button as far as I remember. So if your hardware TNC can connect into this other program here called EasyTerm, that is what I use. At least I've used in the past for packet connections.
So
But I'm
just
not.
run that on my computer. And like I said, I've already got the connection to the computer because I run WinLink. All I should be able to do then is load this easy term and connect.
Well, I think that's unfortunately maybe not potentially. I don't know if it can be used for hardware TNC. I'm not too sure. I just know I've used it with a software TNC before. I can't remember the exact settings if there's serial ports you can connect to in that, but that's at least the portion that I've used to actually connect into the repeater itself. It looks like Jeff put something in the chat here. Let's see. Yeah, looks like menu option 55, packet operation on. Oh, okay, and then you can just use just a serial program, something like PuTTY, which is a very common program to connect serial connections on. Okay, so it sounds like, yeah, you should be able to change the potentially option menu 55 packet operation to on, and then either that program I mentioned or PuTTY as well. PuTTY is a fairly popular program, but I'm not too sure. Oh, I think you're on mute, John. Oh,
The shack, I'll probably look into easy term and PuTTY.
sorry, I had the my tab muted. I was probably talking over you. Sorry about that.
I'm sorry.
Do you want me to email you these links, John? So you can,
Sure.
what's your email address?
J Murphy, J Mike Uniform Romeo Papa Hotel Alpha 7411. I'm sorry, J Murphy Hotel Yankee 7411 in Outlook.
That's .com, I assume.
Yeah.
A
And we
Murphy
do have
7411 at outlook.com.
Yeah, we do have some videos on our YouTube, but they're from 1991, 1992, and there's like 12, 13 hours worth of it. So it's fun to kind of go back and look at it through from a nostalgia perspective, but there's definitely a more condensed way of figuring this out for sure.
But
Yeah.
Bill really digs into the technology. You might find it interesting. He really was into it back in the day. The DRC used to have a club station down in the basement of the Red Cross on Steel Street, and we had all kinds of stuff set up there. We actually worked San Francisco earthquake using packet.
Really?
I worked through that for several days during that big earthquake back in the day, and it was pretty interesting.
Wow.
And I don't know how much disaster communication happens over packet anymore these days. Probably not a lot given the technology we have now, but
Well, I know the Northern Colorado Aries Group, Larimer Well County, are using WinLink
Yeah.
as opposed to Packet. And I've been in the WinLink since they came out with it 8, 9 years ago. Something like that, maybe. I'm not sure.
Boy, it's too bad we didn't get you earlier. We started doing these what are we calling them? I'm calling them on the Saturdays, Doron.
DRC Saturday. Yep.
DRC Saturdays. Yeah, they were set up out at our field day site, and they had a WinLink weekend just this last month, I think. Would have been great to have you there.
Yeah, I don't get much out down to the metro area. Since we moved, when we got here in 2012, we lived in Thornton, and then we bought this place up here and never looked back.
Yeah, but it's pretty quiet up there. It's pretty nice. Very cool. Well, cool. Yeah, welcome to the club. Yeah, we meet on the air every Wednesday except for this Wednesday here on 145490. 7:30 p.m. Just a general Q&A similar to this. So if you ever are interested in asking questions or checking things out, that's another opportunity as well to ask any questions. So yeah, very cool.
Yeah, I've listened when I've been back in the shack in the evening when I've had time. I'm a caretaker for my wife, so my time to play in the shack isn't all that great. And when I've been back and had the radio and scan, I've heard your nets come up about 7 or something like that.
Cool. Yeah, absolutely.
That's my bedtime. I don't make the nets much anymore.
Yeah, that's heading towards our bedtime too.
Yeah, I've always wondered why historically our Sunday night net is even worse. It's an hour. It's at 8:30 p.m., which is crazy.
That's the one I was thinking about. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, I fade before that usually.
Yeah. Well, cool. We have another 40 minutes or so. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Jeff.
Yeah, if we had it at 4:30 in the morning when I get up, it would be a different matter.
Jeez.
Yeah, but where you get people up at that time?
It's the life of an ex-shift worker. It's like my circadian clock will never go back to normal.
I totally understand.
I don't know if anybody had the option or opportunity to check out the eclipse over the weekend. It was pretty interesting. I completely forgot about it, and then Saturday morning, the whole world just had a different hue, and I just completely forgot it, and realized, oh, well, yeah. So.
I thought about it, but I didn't pay much attention.
Yeah, I think southern Colorado is where it was more visible to see.
You were in the zone of, what do they call it, the zone of penumbrance or something? Or...
And Jeff, I did get that email.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I was kind of out of luck with the eclipse up here. I didn't see much of it. I saw some shadows go across the ground.
Yep.
I was just way too far north.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't have too much more on that. I know that there was a photo with a dot on it that people were. Let me see. Let's see if I can find it later. But if there's anything else so far for anyone? Anyone have any comments, questions? We have another 40 minutes. I can certainly bring up a couple more things here.
No, and I appreciate you guys. I'm going to drop out. I got to get some medicine ready for my wife.
Okay.
Sounds good.
But I appreciate the invite and the information, and maybe I'll join you guys again.
That would be great. You're welcome. Welcome anytime.
Excellent. Yeah, thanks, John. Have a good one.
Okay, you too.
Take care. God, it's amazing how technology just marches on and you forget about back in the day, you know.
In terms of what?
Well, you know, TNCs, and I mean, I used to be really into to packet long ago. And
Was it Cantronics? Is that what you're thinking of, maybe? Or
well, I had an MFJ TNC.
oh, okay, gotcha.
You know, and you set it up and let it do things. But Bill Rinker's the guy that was really into it, the whole
Oh,
HF,
yes,
HF gateway
yes.
and all that stuff. And
It's insane how old but quite relevant it still is.
yeah,
Frankly, yeah. Yeah, I think TNC. I mean, it seems like TNCs are a built-in TNC. Seems like a better option than software, like a Signal Link or something like that. But maybe not. I don't know.
well, and I guess you're doing HF with that, or a gateway from. I don't know if it will bridge from VHF to HF or what it'll do in that rig.
Or I guess it won't do audio. Maybe potentially. I wonder if you can.
I don't know what the Kenwood 2000 is.
Hmm.
I don't know what all it has. Let me look here.
Oh, that was his radio. That's right. Let's see.
Yeah, so it's HF 6 meter, 2 meter, 70 centimeters. So I suppose it would bridge. You could set it up as a digipeater to HF or crossband. Interesting.
Yeah, it looks like this similar to the options that they were mentioning. Packet WinLink. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, yeah, we do have these Colorado VHF and the Net 105 packet networks. These are pretty big, and I don't know what their usage is, but these are, I think, put on by us, by Bill Rinker.
And I know we used to use them, you know, back in the day when I was involved in Aries and stuff. We would actually, you know, handle traffic. You know, we would do NTS traffic via, and there was actually an application that was used when you were trying to create a database of found persons. You know, we're trying to communicate. We had inquiries from people wanting to know if their loved ones were okay in San Francisco back then. And, you know, we could log that information and it would be on a national database.
Yeah, okay. Anyone else so far? Anything? Comments, questions? This is the Elmer Session. Great place to talk about ham radio, STEM. Let us know.
Okay, I'm gonna jump in, even though I'm the guest.
I was going to bring up the article here. Canada abruptly ends their official time signal.
Oh, really?
Sudden, yeah. I guess due to, probably says in the article here, but unreliability potentially. Sudden move. National Research Council time signal that was broadcast by Canadian Broadcasting Corporation
Right.
on CBC Radio 1 since 1939, turned off this year, October 9th, after 84 years.
Killed by Starlink, no doubt.
Consisted of a series of 800 hertz sine wave beeps followed by a second-long signal to indicate the top of the hour.
Oh, yeah.
Rather unceremonious decommissioning without prior announcement was predictable, but
Shortwave listeners like me could use it as to tell if there was propagation.
right, yeah. Yeah, considering how popular WWV is still. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
interesting.
It's not quite far enough away to.
Yeah. What else here? I mean, I think we all saw this coming quite a while ago, but the Arecibo Observatory, I think everything is now, science is finally shutting down and going away, and it's being handed over to a couple of universities.
Oh, really? Did they ever get it repaired after that last? They had a disaster there
That was it.
not too long
That was
ago.
the nail in the coffin for them, unfortunately. I forget where article here.
Did you ever do they had that thing going with processing signals. You could let it use your computer on off hours or when you weren't using it to process data when they were. I'm trying to remember what that was. It SETI? It was SETI was the
Yeah.
name of the thing. I used to do that.
I was thinking of the one, the DNA one. I forgot that one. Folding at Home was that one, but yeah, the SETI one I forgot. Yeah. No, I never did.
SETI even still a thing, I wonder?
I believe they are. Yeah.
Yep, SETI Institute's still going.
Yeah, we were just talking about this. It's a little bit of a slippery slope with ham radio in terms of getting, I don't know, blamed, but it's we kind of get thrown in with some communities of like preppers and and aliens are awesome. That's great. I hope one day, but yeah, it's I mean, we are really, really close. I mean, there's a Society of Amateur Radio Astronomers. Let's see if I can spell. radio-astronomy.org. They have done some SETI type research as well. So that's another pretty cool organization to check into. I think they had their conference in Boulder a couple of years ago.
Oh, really?
At one of the NCAR or UCAR. Yeah, they're in southern Colorado. We have a radio or a radio telescope that is available to use to the public. I can't remember where it is though.
I posted a link to SETI Swag.
Let's see.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, there you go. Yep. Yeah. I mean, NASA, they just not renamed, but instead of UFO, it's now UAP,
Right.
Unidentified anomalous phenomena, I believe, and pretty interesting stuff there. I think they also had the touchdown of that other the OSIRIS-REx.
Right.
That hit one of the oldest asteroids. I think they found carbon in water, I think, evidence of that going back just after the Big Bang. So hopefully that'll explain some things about us as humans and maybe other life forms out there. Yeah, it's a bit of waffling for me. If anyone has anything, comments, questions, let us know.
I did confirm with Rob that he'll be here this. I'm sorry, who did I interrupt?
Oh, this is Rob.
Oh, hey, Rob.
Looks like somebody had a question in the chat about feed line.
Oh, yes. Sorry about that. Ben, yes. Built a 10-meter dipole, trying to get new to them a Linko DX70. They need about 75 feet of feed line, and budget is around $100. So they need about 75 feet of feed line.
We should hook him up with Orland. Orland's probably got a lifetime supply.
You say that. That is true. We really should do that. Yeah. I mean, there's all the different. There's RG8, RG58, RG. I mean, there's all sorts of. What do you say? 75 feet. I think you could do that for under $100 with fairly good. By feed line, I mean I'm assuming that. I mean I keep forgetting. I mean that's just the coax going to the radio, right?
And are you looking for? You are looking for coax as opposed to twin lead or some other method.
I'm probably putting the wrong search terms in here. But you can definitely, just the coax. Yeah, you can definitely get, I think, 100 feet for, yeah, it might be above a dollar a foot, but it might not be too far off that. Let me find this here. Anyone else on that? Anybody recently purchased any lengths of coax and maybe know potential pricing on that? Go ahead. While I desperately try to do this here. Ham radio outlets. Oh, LMR 400. That's, I think, the other one that I was trying to think of as well. Oh, okay, so these are per feet. Okay. So LMR 400, $1.59 per foot. So you're looking about $150, $160, $170 probably for 100 feet.
And LMR is pretty high end.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, you can definitely go lower end. Yep, looks like Rob put a link in there for some RG58 100 foot for $100 online. So yeah, online is probably a better bet for if you don't need it immediately. You could probably get it for a better bang for your buck there. Yep.
Then if you can put your email in the chat, I'll send an email to Orland Wolf, our secretary. He's kind of the keeper of the DRC inventory stores.
Yeah.
He might be able to hook you up.
Yeah, we were joking about that, but he truly does have a huge warehouse of a lot of stuff that just sits around and eventually goes bad, so might as well make the use of it now. Okay, yeah, put the email there in the chat. Thanks, man. All right, yeah, good question there. Yeah, it's always, yeah, and yeah, if you can get a little bit better, you know, buy once, cry once, as they say. If it says he's going to bump the budget, he can bump the budget if needed. Main coax to connect various antennas in the same point and tree in the backyard. So, yeah.
And if you want to, Ben, drop your phone number in there too, and I'll send that to him. If you don't want to, that's fine.
All right.
Cool.
Well, I've got an unrelated question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've got a new bug, which is an old bug. And I wondered if anyone on here has had any experience restoring telegraph keys. Primarily, I'm interested in the paint. It has this wrinkle paint, but it's the base is pot metal and it's kind of flaking off of there. So I wanted to see about repainting it, but I've never done anything like that.
Okay, restoring an old keyer. Okay.
Probably ought to tell people that are on here what a bug is, because a lot of them may not know.
Yes.
So yeah, so that's a semi-automatic key. So it
Yeah.
spring-loaded, makes the dits automatically. Too fast for me right now. I need to slow that down a little bit. But and then the DAWs you do manually. And I'll tell you what, after using a keyer for 40 plus years, it's very challenging to not just hold the DAW down.
Are you on Facebook at all? There's a lot of Facebook groups that are into that kind of restoration stuff. I don't know if you looked around for any of them.
No, I haven't actually.
Yeah.
That might be worthwhile.
Do you know the model or make of it?
Oh yeah, it's a Les Logan Model 510. Circa sometime between 37 and 1947. got at the Boulder Amateur Radio Club Ham Fest up here. I guess last weekend
Okay,
before,
yeah.
something like that.
Fine, very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd always wanted to try that out, but I'd never made the leap. But last year I got my first one and kind of got hooked, and I'm like, all right, this is fun. So difficult, but fun.
And I'm sorry, I didn't catch the make of the bug.
Oh, it's a Les Logan. So it comes prior to E.F. Johnson taking it over. Hey, that's it.
Yeah. So is that stainless steel or?
It's nickel plated, I believe,
Okay.
but it's super fast. Holy moly! I I had to add some weights to it to get it to slow down enough to where I'd have any hope of using it, because I think it bottoms out, I think, at 25 words a minute, and I top out at about 25. So usually I hang out around 20.
Wow.
Yeah, I started getting into it. You can go down a rabbit hole with these things.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, no, I haven't done much restoration myself on any vehicles or equipment like this, so I really don't know. It's are you just trying to restore it to its original kind of glory, or
Yeah,
is it,
well,
rusted, or?
mostly I'm just I'm just thinking of messing with the paint. The problem is, there's this kind of trade-off. I'm trying to decide if there's enough damage to the paint to make it worthwhile, or if I'd potentially do more harm than good trying to mess with it. So I'm kind of in that place right now.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So I just did a search for telegraph bug restoration, and there's YouTube videos. There's a whole bunch of resources that came up in that search.
Cool. Oh yeah, there we go. All right.
What I searched for.
Nice.
So I searched for CW bug restoration and it came a VW bug restoration. What did you say?
Telegraph bug restoration.
Ah, that's right. Okay.
VW bug restoration. I like it. Well, it was funny because when I was reading up on the pot metal that they use, a lot of automotive restoration stuff revolves around pot metal, different components that were made that way, and so actually there was kind of a treasure trove of automotive sites dedicated to that, but not specifically CW. So this is cool. Oh yeah, look at that. Thank you. I just checked that link. Huh. Perfect. Oh, there you go. How to restore time.
Yeah.
Google is my friend. I was just Googling the wrong thing. See, I was getting way too specific because I kept Googling like pot metal and,
Right.
wrinkle
Yeah.
finish and all that kind of stuff. So I ended up with a lot of stuff about automobiles. And I'm sure probably a lot of it's the same. So
Yeah. I was thinking maybe so. Very cool. Yeah. If you ever want to share photos with us, if you ever want to on that, yeah.
oh yeah.
I'm not a genius, but I do know how to use Google.
The Google foo is strong.
When my grandson was young, I don't know if he was in elementary, he must have been in middle school, maybe elementary, I don't know, but he had a bunch of words that he'd been sent home a word list that he had to define. And of course, he sits down and he's Googling everything up, and his dad comes in and insists that he use an unabridged dictionary. And he's looking at him like, are you from outer space? Why would I do that? It's like,
An unabridged dictionary.
yeah.
Oh man. It's so weird now when I'm at work, I find dictionaries around, the government. I work for the Weather Service. So, we have these government issue dictionaries from
Oh my God.
the 70s, and they're everywhere. I mean, you find them everywhere. And it's like, man,
Are they 8 by 10 inches or something? So you can
I'm not
remember,
sure. I know they're
or the
red. They have
government, or
they
the
have a
government
red
filing
cover.
cabinets that the
Yeah.
paper
Oh,
was,
yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep.
I worked for USGS for a time when I was a young man, and our thing was always the pins, the Skillcraft pins and the
Oh,
markers, And
yes.
my supervisor would have all these Skillcraft pins. I had these Skillcraft pins that they were ballpoints, but they didn't retract. They were just stationary,
Yeah.
And he
I
had all these things lined up on his desk, and he'd write for a little while, and it would crap out. He'd lay it down and write for a while, and it crap out. And he kept rotating through these things. And the joke was always, and I excuse if I insult anybody, but the Skillcraft was a business to employ people who are blind, and we always wondered, how does a blind person test a ballpoint pen?
They make clocks too.
I know. And then the markers were just horrible. They were dry, like laundry markers, and they'd last about a minute. So we'd buy our own markers for marking sample bags and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Very cool. Good stuff so far here. Yeah, we have another 20 minutes. If anybody has anything, let us know. Again, streaming on youtube.com/Denver Radio Club. See a few people on there. Appreciate that. That was Rob speaking there. He'll be giving a presentation here in about 20 minutes. And so, yeah, comments, questions. This you don't need to be a ham radio operator. Anything you want to bring up, let us know.
Oh, Ben said that Orland was his first ham radio contact ever. So he knows Orland.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there we go. Okay, yeah. Yeah, Orland has a lot of stuff. And yeah. Very neat. And what else here? Do some window shopping here. Let's see here. Favorite website, tnd.com. It is similar to Etsy, but for electronics projects. So just a lot of fun just browsing around there. They have there's definitely a lot of ham radio stuff on here, but just kits and projects and all sorts of things. Let's see, ham radio related, antenna switches, WinKey emulation, packet radio modems, all sorts of stuff there. Let's see what I bought from here. I think I bought some soldering practice kits. Pretty fun. Fun time. Yeah, coming up with the holidays here. Some Hanukkahs or some Christmas trees. Something for the youth. Trying to get them into electronics and engineering. So just a cheap kit here with just a bunch of diodes and LEDs and just a pretty good introduction into soldering. So if anybody's interested on that, pretty good time.
It used to be that the IEEE had a introduction to electronics thing for kids, basically. I don't know if they're still doing it, but the Denver chapter, I remember participating in quite a few of those, and they picked up kits from Spark Fund. They were donated.
Yes.
It was a lot of fun. I don't know if they're still doing it, but it was a lot of fun. Huh?
Very cool. Yeah. Spark Fun. Yep. And Spark Fun is local here. If everybody isn't aware, they're a kits manufacturer and based up in Niwot. So pretty cool local company here. So yeah, similar kind of things that you can buy there, Arduinos and Raspberry Pis and different kits there. So that was it's awesome to hear that there was some donation and involvement with the IEEE there. Yeah, some of these basic kits, really fun, easy projects to get youth involved. What's another thing? Measuring batteries with a multimeter.
Oh,
fill the
yeah.
junk full of batteries. Get them out, get a multimeter out, and measure out to what is it? I can't.
The one kit which went over well is the TV be gone, which kids were building. And then,
Yeah.
yeah, half the time they got the LEDs in backwards or something like that, and then you had to desolder them for them and then put them back in. But yeah, it was very popular.
That's funny. I'm surprised they did that. Yeah. So TV be gone. Universal remote to I think just turn off TV or change channels and just ensue a little bit of chaos, but a nice little introduction into soldering as well, though, too. Very cool.
Yep.
Okay. Let's see. Last month we talked about it a little bit. Another kit manufacturer from way back in the day, Ramsey Electronics. This was a kit manufacturer of my youth. And very similar to companies that we've talked about, Spark Fun and any of these are kit manufacturers. Similar company, but they were just in before their time, and they made some RF transceivers and all within legal limits and whatnot. But I think just before their time, so they got rated, and this was 1999. A pretty interesting read on that. So if you're ever interested, Ramsey Electronics raid Blow by Blow, but they're really cool. What was it? Grant underway FM wireless mic or something else here. Yeah, I can't remember, but yeah, just random stuff there.
Oh yeah, Radio Shack used to have kits. So a lot of these places just stopped supporting it because electronics went from, you could have through hole and a few parts and build something to 0201 resistors and circus mount 168 pin parts jammed down on a 10-layer board. And you look at it anymore and you go, gee, you guys have really ruined this. But I know,
Yeah.
what's his name? The guy, there's a guy who writes little notebooks, things on how to do things with transistors too. When I worked at Radio Shack, he was in Texas with us. Forrest Mims.
Oh yeah,
Oh yes. Yeah.
he wrote a ton of books and sort of little pamphlets and stuff.
Yeah. He used to work directly with the Radio Shack guys over there in the marketing group. But around here, there's no Fistels anymore, and there's no Gateway Electronics, and there's no Electronic Lollipop, and Polypax is gone. And so you're like, well, all right, do I have to go buy 3 parts from DigiKey and pay $7 in shipping?
Right.
So it's kind of sad. Adafruit has a lot of modules, but it's basically seems to be mainly microprocessor type kits. I think they might have what they call LoRa, which is a low power, high distance digital mechanism for communication with a very low data bandwidth, which would be fun to do projects with. Anyone else do this as a hobby?
I was just showing Laura. Go right ahead.
I said, does anyone else, do this as a hobby for, because
There was someone last month. What is his name? He did bring up specifically a LoRa project. Is that what you're asking about, or something else?
Yeah. I was thinking about building one too, because of course every engineer has to build a weather station.
Yes.
It's in the contract, so. It's good fun. I keep wondering, what another interesting thing. Was there someone here from NOAA? I heard.
Yeah, our
that's our
speaker
presenter.
tonight,
Why,
Rob.
yes, there is.
Yeah, I missed the front end of this whole thing. The reason my alarm didn't go off, but there's a when you build a weather station in the backyard or anywhere. When I was in Australia, they had these white boxes with basically louvers on them for protecting the equipment. And then around here, I've seen little plastic enclosures. Is there any of those preferred, or through some kind of requirement, which people like NOAA do when they say, hey, your temperature, there's got to be temperature thermometer, and your humidity sensor has to be within, this kind of enclosure, or not in the sun. I also found out that there's a vast difference between the shade and the sunlight.
Oh yeah. I learned that firsthand in Baghdad. Here it makes a big difference.
Yeah.
But no, the louvered thing that you were talking about, that's called a Stevenson screen, and that's probably the oldest enclosure that I'm familiar with for weather instrumentation. And usually, you'd hang your hygrometer and your thermometer in there.
Stevenson's.
Stevenson screen, yep. And I've only actually encountered one of those in the wild, and that was at Fort Hood, Texas. We still had one outside the weather station on Hood Army Airfield, and but they were going to scrap it, and I rescued it from a dumpster because it was just, I'm a weather guy, and you can't throw away a Stevenson screen.
Good for you.
But so as time went on, typically weather observers aren't going out and checking instrumentation in a cabinet like that. We've got all this remote sensing stuff now, ASOS and AWOS and all that. So I have not encountered any since Fort Hood, and that was back around 2004 time frame when and that had been long decommissioned. It was just sitting out there and birds would roost in it. But yeah. So as far as preferences go, there might be a standard out there, but I'm not aware of it because I don't deal in the meteorological side of the house anymore. I'm strictly space. So yeah, there you go. Stevenson screen. I love it. But they'll usually have, like, if you're part of Coco Ross or one of the networks that does reporting for the Weather Service, they'll give you specifications and things.
Okay. Yeah, the other thing I wanted to do was build a demodulator for the SAME information that comes across in the weather radio stuff. And that's on my other list of weather things to do. I found that it's very interesting that if you go to 47 CFR 11 in the Code of Federal Regulations, they actually spell out the entire protocol. Which
oh, wow.
It's kind of cool. It is the legal requirement is that you meet the protocol for receiving those messages, which I was, amazed that somebody actually standardized things other than, some hidden place.
Mm-hmm.
47 CFR Part 11. There you go. Emergency alert systems.
Huh.
And those who don't carry it end up having to shut down. There you go. EAN is what they tested recently. I recorded that, and I was going to stick it through an FFT and look at the frequencies on there because that would be fun too. I mean, I have a weird idea of fun. I also like accounting, and I think that's fun. But what they say, I like boring things. Yeah, go down a little further, and you'll.
You had me up until you said accounting, and then you lost me.
ES encoder, decoder.
Which one? What
Wireless cable systems, blah 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 blah. Keep going. You could eventually get to the ZC protocol is the first. The preamble it goes with ZC. There you go. There you go. Preamble ZC. You have to parse on that to get that, and then you get the org and various pieces in there. And there's an initial beep that means, hey, a new one's coming in versus you've been listening to noise. So I thought that would be kind of fun too. This is like the, what is that? WWV. I couldn't help myself. And so I had to build a WWV receiver. It was pretty cool. And then decode that, you get yourself a microcontroller. But yeah, this is exactly how the protocol works. And then all you actually have to do is, in fact, SparkFun sold one of the original silicon, what's it called? SI, Silicon Labs, SI, I think is their logo, but Silicon Labs made a FM receiver and a weather radio receiver on a chip, and it would pump out the audio. And so I do still have one of those now. Silicon Labs spun off that business of all the radio stuff, automotive and et cetera, to some other place, which to me was give me another heartache, like watching all the other electrical places disappear. But yeah, but anyway, yeah, there we go. The SI 4779. There you go. Silicon Labs. Well, you're a whiz at doing this Google thing or whatever it is.
You guys say the things, and I
Okay.
just try to process it. Yeah.
I don't know if they
Yeah.
still sell it at Spark Fun, but I still have a couple of them.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna play
Yeah,
with
they
them.
just did the
There's
national
different
test. and-
phase lock loops. That there was the 2211, which was originally put out by, I think it was Allegro or Unitrode even before them, and then there's also something called it's like a 567 PLL. But one's digital and the other one is analog, and I wasn't sure, do you get stuck with an analog one? But I'm going to buy like a couple of each and then see what happens. I know the 2211 is gone obsolete just about everywhere. I think even the JRC, Japan Radio Corporation, obsoleted them. But it would be neat. Anyway,
Yeah.
too many years in electrical engineering and
Yeah.
software. Oh, I just love this stuff.
Very cool. Yeah, I mean, they just had that emergency test, and yeah, it sounded like that one, that chip there you mentioned was had some automotive purpose too. So it sounds like we're.
Oh, they
We have
even make
similarly-
one which does shortwave and
Oh.
SSD, and I don't know if they spun it off to somewhere else, but I think you can still buy them. You would have to look on DigiKey or something. And then they do come in not dips, but the flat pack type devices where it looks like a dip, but it's like 28 pins. And I remember they had the documentation on doing the AM and FM connections and the
Hey, good evening. Mike.
wires and things.
You must
So
have
it's
checked.
all,
Hey, go-
everything on a chip these days just makes it more fun as long as you can find somebody to solder the thing on there. And if you stick
Yeah.
with 1206 resistors, you can still solder those on yourself. And I know a lot of people are phasing out completely through hole resistors, which really makes me sad. The quarter watt and eighth watt, 10th watt versions of them, because there's just no real demand. I remember at Tandy trying to talk down the resistor salesman, and I said, "Oh yeah, you're charging me 3 for a penny, but what can you do for me?" And he said, "Well, how many are you going to buy?" And I said, "Well, we're looking at 80,000." He said something like, "Well, we ship 15 million resistors a month. What kind of volume are you talking?" I think it was KOA Electronics, Koa made resistors. And then the other one was King Wahoo resistor company, which was odd because when you bought a 5% resistor, they were sorting them when I first worked with them. So that when you had a 5% resistor, it was 5% out.
Okay.
So
Nice.
yeah, worst case analysis, good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's sad to see. Hopefully, the introduction of surface mount, I think you were mentioning there, is phased out the kind of the kits and Radio Shacks and things like that. So it's
Yeah, it's ruined a really good hobby. I
yeah.
really enjoyed it.
Well, somehow it is 7 o'clock. That went pretty quick last few bit there.
Yeah, it's fun talking to you guys again.
Yeah, you guys
It's
as well.
brain trust.
Yes. Well, perfect. Again, my name is Drone, call sign K1DBC. This has been the Elmer Session. Something similar to this happens on the other Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. More information on our website, w0tx.org. Again, streaming on youtube.com/Denver Radio Club. This Elmer Session as well as the meeting here. So, with that, I don't see our club president on here. Or yeah,
Yeah, I'm
Jerry,
here,
go ahead.
Drone.
He's there. Yeah, go ahead. So I'll throw it over to you.
Yeah, okay, good evening. Well, a good, interesting conversation. Welcome, everybody. I heard Rob talking about buying that key. You must have beat me to it up at Boulder, because that's what I'm always on the lookout for is particularly bugs. I've got a small collection of bugs and various other keys. I think I got 17 or 18 of them, something like that. But always, the bugs are my favorite. Like I say, welcome. One
Drop, and
announcement
we'll reconnect.
that